Hey, what's up? Welcome back to another episode of the Boyos Discuss, the podcast where we pick a topic and then shoot the shit about it for a while. This week we're returning from our break that was definitely not longer than a week, but I digress. As always, if you're watching on YouTube and enjoy the podcast, we'd greatly appreciate it if you like, comment, subscribe, and smash that bell icon. With all that out of the way, let me introduce you to my co-host for this episode, Ben. How's it going, boyo?
It's good.
So today we'll be not doing a movie review, I guess, in the traditional sense. We're going to actually be talking about a little show called Star Wars The Bad Batch. For those of you who don't know, The Bad Batch is a squad of defective clones who are featured in a few episodes of Season 7 of the Clone Wars TV show. And I feel like for the most part, they didn't receive the best reception. Like online, a lot of people were kind of 50-50 on whether or not they actually liked the episodes that featured them, but Lucasfilm and Disney decided that it would be a neat idea, I guess, to continue and do like an entire show based around them. So I guess we'll start things off with, what were your thoughts on the Bad Batch in Season 7 of the Clone Wars?
I didn't like them.
Uh,
They're the fucking discounted penguins of Madagascar of fucking
Damn,
Star Wars.
okay, well that's...
They
I
are.
don't... I didn't dislike them that much.
I thought they were really boring. If they're just featured in a few episodes, all you get is that there's the leader, Rambo.
Yeah.
There's the heavy guy who's the heavy from like Team Fortress, pretty much. He's just like an idiot strong guy. There's Tech, who's like I think you already know exactly what that character's like just from his name. And then Crosshair is the sniper, who's just like too cool. It's like they were fine. I get it in a kid show, and like Clone Wars is still I know a lot of adults watch it, but they do still kind of aim it at kids. And I'm sure a lot of kids are like, "Oh, it's so badass!" Well, like, "Whoa, they're so cool." But I've seen this dynamic like 400 other times, and it's just it
And
didn't
it's been
impress
done
me.
better before.
Yeah,
That was
it
the other
didn't
thing,
impress me
like,
in the Clone Wars, but
yeah.
I'm not upset that this is going to be its own show because I welcome character development and what they're going to do with these people, and I love Star Wars, so I'm not upset. I just didn't like them in season 7.
Yeah, and like, I don't know, I think if anything, these two episodes have made me appreciate more I guess the Bad Batch in general, because I guess in a way the episodes from the Clone Wars sort of served as like an introduction to those characters, even
Hmm.
if it wasn't meant to be that, because I think initially, like, clear back before Disney had bought Lucasfilm, they had planned on doing those Bad Batch episodes before they had canceled the Clone Wars originally. So they've had these characters kind of kicking around for a while. So I don't know. It's good that they're fleshing them out because otherwise they would have just been, like you said, just kind of knock off like basic like one note characters who don't really do anything or like
Yeah,
grow in any significant way. So
yeah.
I'm
So that's what I
yeah.
thought they were. I didn't know this show was coming out, and when I saw season 7, I was like, what?
Yeah.
What's the point? It's a cool idea. I like the Black Ops, Clone Wars missions, and they send these defective, you know, clones that
Yeah.
were engineered for different specialties. It's a cool idea.
Yeah, I guess like originally the only thing that we've had that's like close to that would have been like Republic Commando and that sort
Right,
of
which is
thing.
amazing.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean granted those characters were pretty tropey as well, but like I don't know,
Yeah,
there was a degree of like there wasn't like a stupid one, like there wasn't a wrecker equivalent
hmm
in that, but with that out of the way, I guess we're going to jump into the discussion of the episodes themselves, and we're actually going to switch things up a bit and use the synopsis that you can find on Disney Plus. Since the show is really fresh, and it's just coming out as we're going to be doing these reviews, we just figure most people are going to be tuning in if they're listening to this at all after they've seen the episodes. So, spoilers ahead if you haven't seen the episodes. I will say though, the synopsis that they have on Disney Plus are like very bare bones, so we'll have to fill in the gaps, I guess, a little bit. So, first up, we've got Aftermath, which it ran at a meaty 70 minutes, which I think that's the longest we've had for any of the Star Wars TV shows on Disney Plus for
Hmm.
runtimes. Although there may have been an episode of The Mandalorian that was
How
around
long
that long.
do you know how long the movie for the Clone Wars was? It's like an hour and a half.
The movie? What do you
Yeah.
mean?
Like you remember how they
Oh,
started the
the
Clone
the
Wars?
the theatrical one?
Yeah.
Oh, that was like feature length. So that was probably closer to like, I don't know, 120 minutes.
Yeah.
Whereas yeah. I don't know.
I
That's
felt like
probably
just
the closest
70
thing.
minutes was better than the whole,
Yeah.
development they did in that entire movie.
Well, and it's like I will say that this episode, like, it moved really fast, but it never felt like it didn't feel like Rise of Skywalker where it was like whiplash and you're going like way too fast. Like I feel like
Hmm.
there was enough like slow sort of world building stuff and just them interacting
I think it's
in
because they
meaningful
weren't
way.
introducing you to way too much, way too fast. It was
Yeah.
like concepts you know about Order 66, you knew about Camino and the clones and the Empire, but it's just a cool new way to see things happening like we've never gotten a glimpse into this time period, like we
Yeah.
are with this.
So I guess the we'll do the synopsis now, and it's literally just the clones of the Bad Batch find themselves in a changing galaxy after the Clone Wars. So I guess overall, did you like the
Pretty good. Yeah,
episode?
that's the end of the episode. No, I did. I did like it a lot. It was it started really well. I love seeing Order 66 taking place in the Clone Wars. It was the best part of season 7, and it was really cool to see it again here and how different clones and different Jedi react. And I love how they're doing the it's not blatant over your head like smash you with a frying pan references. That's like, look at this. Don't you know who this is? But like the Padawan is Caleb, or which is I forget the name he goes by in Rebels, but he's like
It's
the
Kanan.
Kanan. That's right. Yeah,
Yeah.
Kanan, and he's the outcast Jedi who's given up and wants to hide from the Empire, and it's really cool to see that. He talks about his master a lot in Rebels, and you see her just get gunned down, and it reminded me a lot of Fallen Order, and that was a great game. And the best part of that game to me was the Order 66 part. So
Yeah.
yeah, I was super like the beginning had me. It was really good.
Yeah, well, and even before that, they had like animated some scenes from episode 3. Like I think the
Yeah,
duel with Anakin, or maybe no, it wasn't that. It was the duel with General Grievous or something.
yes,
But they
that's
had a
what
few
his name.
scenes that they had animated from that, and I just love like when they redo scenes or like stuff like that and just kind of bring everything together because there's always
Yeah.
sort of a disconnect between like where the Clone Wars ended and where Episode 3 sort of began. And I don't know, it's just really cool that we're filling out, the lead into that with Clone Wars, and then also, what happened after as well, because that's been something that, at least in the new canon, anyways, they haven't really like messed with too much. But so we've mentioned that Kanan makes an appearance, but we also saw two other, I guess, more established characters in Saw Gerrera and Admiral Tarkin. What did you think of like? Because that's three pretty significant characters, just in terms of like, I don't know, the overall lore of the Star Wars universe. Like, did you think they went too far with having too many big appearances right off the bat in the first episode?
Tarkin fit. I liked seeing Tarkin because in a very brand new empire, I want to see how the head guy kind of organizes things quickly because things it happens like super fast. Like if you look at just like world empires and how things like coups and things like this, it's usually just a handful of people that make everything happen, and then it's just like bam, like everything's changed, and they're in their positions of power. So I'm happy to see Tarkin hands on into on Camino, trying to figure out if the clones are worthwhile or if they should just rely on a conscription service, which is also really cool to see elaborated. Like that's just something. It's a question people have been asking, and we've gotten some answers to it before in like the Battlefront 2 game and stuff. But I like learning, in like when they definitively say yes, like it's conscription for stormtroopers and stuff.
Yeah.
But no, I like Tarkin a lot. Saw Gerrera, it didn't. Nah, he didn't need to be there. He really didn't. He just
Yeah.
kind of was like, oh, bumming around on this planet. Like I feel like Disney, they put like they introduced him in Clone Wars, but I did not fucking remember him. I know that I saw him before Rogue One, and I just blanked it out, and I just like who? And Rogue One made him a huge deal, like he is the figurehead in the rebellion against the Empire before
And
the
he's in
true
two
rebel.
scenes.
Yeah, so I feel like Disney's just doing this thing where it's like put him in fucking everything.
Yeah,
He's
yeah,
a big deal, and it's like you guys said he was a big deal before you showed us why, and now they're just trying to show us why and everything. Like
yeah.
every medium I can think of with Star Wars before his death has had him in it now. Like video games, movies, TV shows, they keep throwing him in.
I'm sure
And
there's
it's always just
comics
kind of
too. Yeah.
and he's cool. I mean, I like him, but
Yeah, I don't know. I think they
kind of
just
overkill.
because like the whole theme with him when George Lucas created the character was that he was like the first rebel sort of thing because they were rebelling against the, I guess, king of the planet that they were on,
Yeah.
and so like George Lucas just really liked the idea of that being like sort of the birth of like rebel thoughts, I guess. I don't know. They've gone a little far with it. I think, like you said,
Yeah.
seeing
I
him
wish
in
they,
like
they can keep mentioning him and you can keep bringing him up, but running into him fucking everywhere all the time is getting goofy.
yeah, yeah, it's crazy. And then Tarkin, like it was just cool because they had kind of even alluded to stuff in the Clone Wars TV show. There was that episode where they go to that like prison planet because they're breaking clones out or something like that, or a Jedi
Yeah.
Master, and
Yeah,
he's
and that's
with
where
them.
Fives gets taken. Or
Yeah,
Echo, sorry.
yeah, and even in that episode, they kind of like were bringing up the fact that he's not really into the idea of using clones, and he's like, yeah, maybe we should think of doing things a little differently. So
And
they
he's like,
had,
Anakin, you have some interesting ideas there, Mr. Jedi Skywalker. I like you. It's like, ooh. But no, I thought Tarkin was good. If they like, they could have killed. They wouldn't have ever done this, but if you use like Darth Vader, it's fucking stupid. But Tarkin was a good level for that priority.
yeah. Do you think we'll see Darth Vader in this?
Um,
I mean, that's kind of getting
mm,
into the later parts of the discussion,
I
but
don't think so. I don't.
I don't know. I can see it going either way,
I think if
honestly.
we do see him, it's gonna be like Rebels, where he shows up for one episode and just like smokes everybody and just
Yeah.
wrecks shop and goes, I'm surrounded by fear and dead men and just kills everybody and it's like, oh shit. But I don't think he's gonna like. I think they're just gonna
Yeah.
tease him if he is in it. They're not gonna do anything big with him.
Yeah.
That's my
That's sort of
theory.
where I'm at, yeah. And again, it's like 50-50. I don't know. We'll see.
Right.
So far in the first episode, did you like the Bad Batch more than season 7 of the Clone Wars?
Definitely, but they're definitely all still kind of tropey and annoying.
Yeah.
Like
I
I liked
like
seeing Hunter, how he led people who didn't trust him, and how he dealt with like being even more of an outsider. Like they already were the Bad Batch, but now their inhibitor chips and their Order 66 chips aren't working like they should, except for Crosshair. And it was cool to see that. I think Hunter's getting the most development. Obviously, he's kind of the leader, so.
yeah. One, I mean,
Uh,
he's the only one with like an emotional anchor through Omega, and
yeah.
that's how he's that's one of the things I thought we should talk about probably is that now Star Wars is kind of falling into the trope of like similarly with the Mandalorian and like Logan and stuff where it's like older grizzled character
And
with
Ray and Han
younger,
Solo.
yeah, that as well, yeah, where you have an older person who's kind of brought back and like, oh yeah, you can care about stuff again, through
Mhm.
like a younger person.
Well, it's a solid formula. Like I've been seeing that storyline a lot recently. Like God of War, and you were saying Logan, and this, and like the Hound and Arya, and like there's a lot of this storytelling. It all came from like Up,
uh,
like the grumpy old dude runs into the peppy young kid, and they both teach each other how to be more better people or something. And it's like okay, it works. I enjoy watching it. So
yeah.
if the
um
characters are good, and that's the thing.
yeah. Well, and that's why I'm hopeful that like it won't just be it won't just be the leader in Omega, and like I feel
Yeah,
like it'd be good if everyone else sort of like takes that like older brother like figure sort of thing, and you kind of see that in episode 2 with Wrecker, but we'll get to that.
yeah. I
um
I have to say I'm very happy that they made Omega not a fucking super annoying kid. Like it took me I think longer than most people to like Ahsoka. I really hated her for a long time just that like snarky me. It's like, oh my god.
Yeah.
So I'm really glad Omega's not like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It's sort of cool. Like I don't know. Like I'm curious to see what they do with that character because I feel like there's a lot that they're leaving it sort of shrouded in mystery. And I don't know. In the end, it'll probably just disappoint me. But like, what do you think the deal with her is? Because like, she's obviously a girl clone of Boba Fett. Like I think
Hmm.
that's or Jango Fett.
Right.
But like for each of the Bad Batch members, they have like a heightened ability of some kind, you know? Like Hunter, his is like heightened senses, Wrecker, it's like being really strong. And Omega, what they're kind of like I guess leaning into is that either A, which I don't think they're gonna do, but it would be I don't know if they're kind of leaning into like, oh, like what if we cloned force sensitive people or added metachlorians to, Jango Fett's DNA? Because like she's kind of got this weird like empathy thing where she can read emotions really well. Like even Hunter when they're leaving, she's like, I there's something I need to tell you, but and you need to hear it, but I'm not gonna tell. And then like she hesitates, I guess. And then later on with Crosshair, when they're in the prison together, she's like, hey, like I know that something's up with you, and I know you're gonna do something, but you should not do
Dude,
it.
that was like a Last Supper kind of thing. Like Jesus
Yeah,
turning to Judas and being like, "Go on now, go
yeah.
do what you need to do." It's like, whoa, what?
Well, and that's
So
why
that
I'm
was
like, so it's like I could see it being, either she is force sensitive and that's like a thing. Because I don't know, like I feel like gradually they're using the, I guess, expanded TV shows to try and justify Palpatine being cloned. Because, like, I don't know, in the original canon, it was always that you couldn't clone Jedi, and that was just like a thing. But, so I don't know, I get the feeling that maybe that's a direction that they're going in. We'll just have to wait and see on that. But any other like, well, one thing I do want to talk about with this episode that didn't really follow through to the next one is this episode looked amazing.
dude, yeah.
Like it was a really fucking pretty show. Like when they're on Onderon in the forest,
Hmm.
dude, that was like
It looked like a movie.
yeah,
It was hard to distinctly tell that there was an animated show. Like even the characters were in their armor. Like when the characters are out of it, they have very angular features, and you can it's stylized. But in the armor with the environment, yeah, it looked real. It looked live action. It was insane.
yeah. Well, and it's just sort of crazy how far they've come from season one of Clone
Yeah,
Wars.
the lighting is insane. Like I
Yeah.
think that's what does it the most.
Well, and like I'm really glad that they decided, rather than continuing down the Star Wars Rebels sort of like animation style, which was, it was cheaper looking.
Yeah,
like
it didn't look very good.
yeah, I'm glad they were like, okay, people want to see like these higher budget things that look fucking like cinema level.
Hmm.
So, were there any other things you wanted to talk about the first episode before we go into the next one?
I really I like the setup of Crosshair as a villain. I
Yeah,
think that's going to be interesting. I hope.
his armor looks badass, by the way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
his armor's fucking sick. He looks like a what were the black troopers
The
in Rogue
Death
One?
Troop? No, not the
Death
Death
Troopers.
Troopers.
Yeah,
Were they? Yeah.
he kind of looks. It looks like that now, and it's fucking sick. And
Yeah.
like, I want to see him try to like use their tactics against them and be just this kind of like inescapable like Terminator. Like that'd be
Yeah.
cool. I don't know how much they can do with that. I don't know how intimidating they're willing to make him. I think that would be cool though. I liked that when he came out, it was really cinematic. Like they're standing on opposite sides of the hangar, and the light is on both of them, and it's like a duel. And they do this is like the 307th fucking cowboy duel we've seen in Star Wars, and it's still amazing. Like
Yeah.
I love those where they're just like your move or whatever, and blah blah blah, and it's. So
Yeah.
it was really good ending with that face off in the hangar. Uh, yeah.
Yeah. One, I will say I like the they're kind of building this, I don't know, animosity or something between the Kaminoans and the Empire.
Hmm.
And I'm intrigued to
Oh, they can
see.
tell they're taking their business from him. They're like, "Hey,
Yeah,
get their
yeah.
money."
I'm intrigued to see where that goes though. And
Do
if
you think they will do
I
like a Battle of Camino?
That's what I was gonna get into later. We can talk about
Mm.
that now, though. So my hope, and I know they won't do this, but I just think it would be really badass if they did. Do you remember in the original Battlefront 2 video game, I think it was, or maybe it was even Battlefront 1, they had like in the campaign a story mission where it was like an uprising of clones
Yeah,
led
that
by
was
the
Battlefront 2.
Kaminoans? Yeah. My hope is that they'll do something like that just
Right.
cuz I think that would be fucking awesome
And
and it
that's what
would
I'm talking about.
explain like
That
um
was the Battle of Camino I was, yeah, referencing.
yeah, yeah. So that's where I would like to see it go. I don't think they'll do that though. Just cuz I don't know, we've seen in what's it called? In The Mandalorian, there's that like scientist character and
Yeah.
on his like arm he has a patch which is like the Camino symbol or whatever. Like you'd probably recognize it. But so like to some degree the facilities still exist and that's why people are like, "Oh, they're cloning Palpatine and they're using the metachlorians and
I think it'd
Baby
be a good
Yoda."
way to show that the clones are actually like obsolete. Like they weren't just kind of replaced. Like if the Empire just overwhelms the clones with their conscripted stormtroopers, it's like the
Yeah.
nail in the coffin.
Yeah.
So I think that would be cool.
Yeah. And that would be a great way for them to like further differentiate themselves from
I
the
mean, they've got
Republic.
Disney money. Do like when Disney owns 70% of fucking movie ticket sales and makes me upset because they're just a giant movie monopoly. At the least I ask for is for these fucking high budget concepts that fans have wanted to see forever.
Yeah.
At least
Well,
give us that.
one, it's like I don't know if they do it. My hope would be that it has like the same, I guess, emotional resonance as like seeing Order 66 in Episode 3 has.
Oh yeah. Oh, it'd be so
Because I
sad.
feel like they could do that if they go down that route. Like
Mhm.
I'm still 50-50 on if they will, but all right.
Camino was built for sad scenes. It's all moody weather all
That's
the
true.
time.
Yeah, that's true. So I guess from there we're gonna go into episode 2, which is a cut and run. And so the synopsis for that episode is literally the Bad Batch visit an old contact.
Yep.
So what did you think of that episode?
I'm super impressed with the autists on fucking Reddit for
Oh
figuring out who their contact was.
yeah,
Like at the end of the first episode, they're like, "Oh, plot coordinates to J19," and these motherfuckers were like J19 and fucking found out that in the Clone Wars that was kind of like the coordinates where this deserter clone had gone and built a farm with a family. And so, of course, you told me that before I saw the episode.
I feel
That
kind of bad.
they
I
said that.
did.
No,
Uh,
it made it fun. It made it funny. I was like, is it actually going to be that? Like, were they fucking right? And they were. It's awesome. So props to them. No, it was fine. I don't think it needed to happen at all for any reason. Nothing
yeah,
really was
it
accomplished.
yeah it did feel like filler. I am sort of glad that they revisited that deserter clone, just because that was always something that well I loved that episode in the Clone Wars
Hmm.
to begin with, but like I don't know, just the idea of like other clones besides them defecting, because I don't know, he had been like, oh yeah, Rex came through and like others have come through as well. So
Yeah, it was cool
um
to hear Rex. Just like I mentioned,
and
and
they
if
like
they,
just missed him by a
yeah,
day. It's
who was
like
with Rex and Rebels when they were hanging out in that derelict
it was
ATTA
it
or
was
something?
Rex, Wolf, and one other whose
Yeah,
name
can't
escapes.
think of it.
Gregor. I think it's Gregor. I think that
Mm.
sounds right. But
But yeah,
yeah. So I don't know.
it'd be
Uh,
cool if the Bad Batch runs into them as a group or something like that. Runs into Rex on the run, and he's like, "Oh my God, clones!" And they're like, "Wait,
yeah,
So,
yeah. I don't know.
or
Like
runs into the
I
old
really,
Jedi or something.
I
I'm sure
do
they
kind of
will.
like the idea of them just missing each other and that being like not a consistent theme, but like something that happens maybe later again.
Yeah,
I don't know. We'll see. I don't know. This episode was sort of weird. It felt I didn't like Omega as much in this episode because she does kind of go into the weird like, oh, she's so naive and she's never experienced it. Like it's sort of like Rey and The Force Awakens,
yeah.
where she's lived. Yeah, she's lived on a fucking desert her whole life, and so then whenever she sees like lush environment. She's like, "Ooh, this is like really cool and stuff." And
Yeah, but I mean, like Kaminoans, they don't educate you on anything. What the fuck is this? That's dirt. What? Like you don't have a concept of land. But I mean, it's supposed to be just like this cute moment, like, ooh, look, she's so young and dumb.
yeah, I don't know. It to me felt weird. But I'm glad they got it out of the way, I guess. Like later in the episode, as far as them being like trying to pawn her off onto the Cut and his family.
Yeah.
I'm just glad because I knew they were gonna do something like that at some point, and it's better to just do it and be done with it.
Yeah, it was very predictable.
Yeah. And I don't know. It was cool seeing other stuff as well. Like there was a lot of world building in terms of switching over from the Empire or from the Republic to the Empire, as far as like assigning codes to people and exchanging the Republic credits for Imperial credits. Because
Yeah, that was cool.
yeah, because well, and that's been a question I've had since The Mandalorian started. Like the whole chain code thing. I was like, when did they do
Hmm.
that?
I just really like seeing how quickly things are moving. Like for the average civilians of the galaxy, because it's just moving so quickly that you barely have time to react, and then before you know it, you're in a fucking empire, and you're just like, oh my god, how did we get here?
Yeah,
And that's all. It's cool to see it develop really
yeah.
quickly like that.
Well, then I don't know. It's cool, like to go back to Saw Gerrera from earlier. Like the whole reason they included that character was to give them like I don't know, to make them question what's going on. And it's cool to see, I guess, both perspectives. Like you have the average people who aren't going to be able to fight back, and then you have Saw Gerrera who's like, they lied to you about us being like separatists. Like what the hell else do you think is going on with that and like Order 66 and stuff. So, yeah, the world building really cool so
And they
far.
get that they make the clones already feel like stormtroopers. Like they don't
Yeah,
even feel like clones anymore. They're patrolling and telling people to stay in their lanes and they're monitoring everything. It's really cool. It's like they're occupied, like they're occupying
yeah. Well,
already.
and even when cause we had watched the first episode of this, as a group, with Ryan, and one of the things that I noticed, and I think we talked a bit about this then, was that there's a much bigger emphasis on the clones with just plain white armor
Hmm.
than you ever saw, like because in the Clone Wars, like they all had their different like battalions they were in. They had all sorts of different like colors and stuff, and if you were a different position you had a different like emblem on and stuff like that. Whereas in this, it's sort of like, I don't know, fish out of water sort of thing, with the Bad
Yeah.
Batch being like, okay, there's them, and then there's like the Coruscant Guard, and those are like literally, maybe there's a few others, but those are like the only ones that look different. So the emphasis seems to be moving towards like uniformity, and
Yeah. And that's
it's
cool
just
to see.
yeah, yeah, especially considering how like different they were, in the Clone Wars.
Hmm.
So were there any other thoughts on the episode that you had?
Yeah. I think that the deserter clone is highly irresponsible for letting Omega go back to the Bad Batch because they're literally like, yes, they're right in the thick of war zones all the time, and they all have been on several Black Ops missions, and they've developed very particular skills. Like, what the fuck? Why is Omega? You like her, and she reminds you of you. I get that. That's cute, but like, I don't know.
One,
It just seems kind of goofy. Like,
yeah,
I'm imagining the CIA in like Nicaragua going through the jungle hunting for Contras, and they run into a kid, and they're like, you know what? You're cool. You can come with us. Like, that's irresponsible.
yeah,
And
yeah,
then
and
you have a
like
chance to hand them to a family with kids and have a life. That's like, yes, you do that. That is what you do. You do not keep taking this kid to war zones. But it's whatever.
yeah. I mean, I think if anything, they are probably building up to something more significant with her.
Yeah, and they
Um,
were like, they're hacking into all this stuff and being like, we cannot alert the clones. Like
oh,
they will lock down everything. We cannot have a firefight here. and then they proceed to have a firefight there, and the clones
And
don't
it's totally
lock
fine.
anything down, and
Yeah.
the line across the parking lot is fine, and they're moving along, and they're like, "What's happening? Ah, nothing important." Meanwhile, they're just like, is a giant rise, like people are dying, like they kill a lot of clones, and they
Yeah, well,
don't
and
really react to anything, and that
I don't
bothered
know.
me.
My hope with this show was that there would be more, I guess, conflict within the Bad Batch as far as them killing other clones and stuff, but they don't really seem all that.
That's true. I didn't think about that.
Cause like I don't know, it was always like in the Clone Wars they were always like, oh, we're brothers, and like that's like that was a
You think about
bond
like the
that they
General
all
Krell
had.
episode and shit.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. It's just it's
You're right. That's like seems like an oversight. Yeah,
yeah.
it's just kind of man. And they go to meet this contact. What was their plan? Like, did they say explicitly like why they needed his help or what he could do for them?
So they wait. So like at the end of the episode, or maybe it was no, it was the beginning of this one. They were like, yeah, we're gonna go talk to this deserter guy because they're like, he's really good at staying off grid, and that's something that we don't really excel at. Because he went through like most of the Clone Wars just sort of chilling,
Hmm.
without getting caught, and so I don't know. I guess that's my thought. I just found it weird that they had met. And I don't know, maybe
Yeah.
they'll expand on that in a comic or something. But I don't know, and it was just weird, not having that established before, and I don't know, kind of thinking that Rex was maybe the only clone who knew about Cut,
Right.
and that made it more impactful that Rex wouldn't tell anyone, So then for more to know who Cut is, it's like, I don't know. I will say though that I did like that Wrecker wasn't as, I guess, loud in
Yeah, they
this
toned him
episode.
down. I appreciated that.
And I wonder if like, assuming they're doing these in order as they animate it, if like they had done most of the, I guess, pre-production stuff on the first episode around the time season 7 came out, and then after they got the feedback of them being like, oh, he's kind of annoying, from fans and stuff, if they maybe changed that a little bit.
Yeah, man. Like Riker, definitely the most annoying, but I feel for him because they've just kind of like growth hormoned up this undeveloped brain. Like he still plays with fucking little stuffed animals. He probably can't even spell grape, and they give him a fucking gun and tell him to push tanks over cliffs. And like,
Dude, that was badass though. In the
yeah,
first
but it
episode.
feels I feel bad for him. He's
Yeah.
just like, does he even have a concept of where he is or what he's doing at any time? Like, I feel like the scar came from him trying to line a bottle rocket in his ear or something. He's a fucking idiot. Like, why? It's I feel for him.
Yeah.
Like, it's fucked up.
Yeah. I don't know. It just I hope they do more with the character and they like I don't know. We'll see. We'll see.
Yeah. So far, the characters have not developed that much. Like,
Yeah.
Tech is the by far the most just like tropey, and I don't like that at all.
No, and I love the joke in this where they talk about the chain codes or whatever, and he like literally just found out about them, and they're
mm,
like, "Tech, do you think that you could hack into them and make some for us?" He's like, "Well, I did just hear about these for the first time right now, but I guess I could." And
right.
it's like, dude, what?
And he goes,
Like I
yeah, they're
know.
inhibitor chips. Oh, you don't know about them? How else do you think you do? You fucking idiots. It's like, shut the fuck up. I like Echo. Have liked Echo the whole time. I think he's the only really interesting one because
He's like the one that's sort of like I don't know, the normal one who's like, "What the fuck are y'all doing? Like, why
he's
are
the
y'all
normal
acting
one, but he's
so
also the
weird?"
most absolutely fucked up one.
Oh
Like he's
yeah,
a
yeah. I'm not,
cyborg. He's got like PTSD. And,
but like
he was practically dead. I would.
but
He
I
looks
guess
like a
I guess what
fucking
I'm getting
ghoul.
at is he is the only one who knows what it's like to have been just a normal clone,
Right. So
and
Echo, by far, hands down, has I think the most interesting stuff to say, and he's going to be a character I look at a lot for depth.
yeah.
The other ones, he's just literally fucking Rambo. They're like, let's go incognito, and he wears his stupid ass headband with a big skull on it, and he's got his like war paint on. I'm
They all
like,
have
all
the
right,
skull on their
Jesus
armor.
Christ.
Yeah, it's cheesy for sure, but so I guess it for episode 2. So now we'll go into, I guess, broader sort of topics. So let's see, we've already covered that. Do you see all of the clones actually making it out, or do you see it being more of like a Halo Reach sort of deal?
Definitely, they're not going to make it. Omega's going to make it,
Yeah, I
and
feel
that's
like
going to be
it's
it.
it's gonna be a thing where they gradually are sacrificing to
And
get
Omega's
her.
Omega's going to have Wrecker's toy, and
Yeah,
she's going to be holding on to it, and they're going to fly away, or they're going to get shot, or they're going to have one scene where he's like, "You'd be have your own life," and then yeah, they're not making it.
yeah. So I guess
It'd be cool to do like a Halo Reach thing though, but they have the helmet down
yeah,
and
dude. When it's like that'd be sick.
yeah,
Like I know we kind of got that with Rogue One already, but it's like just go for broke and do it in fucking with
I
the clone
really
troopers,
I
because
would love
that's
to see Crosshair kill one of them and then react to it.
yeah. When it's like
Uh,
at some point that I think that's what's gonna happen is something is gonna flip the switch and he'll be like, oh shit, these are the people, but it'll be too late because they'll have killed
yeah,
one of them or something. But then
and then
he'll
he'll
die in a
either
hail of
he'll start
gunfire
killing
saving them.
the people that were fighting with him and they kill him, or kills himself. They're not gonna kill himself. No, that's a fucking kid show. They're not gonna do that. But
Yeah, yeah, it's that would be a much darker turn.
yeah,
Um,
but I'm interested in seeing that.
yeah, yeah, I am as well, and my hope is that because this is going to be 16 episodes long, my hope is that it will be mostly plot, but there's obviously going to be filler. And I just my hope is that we'll see a lot of all of the main characters, including Crosshair, and that he's not just he'll come up every few episodes, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Because that's I don't know, that's sort of the trap they fell into with Rebels, especially like the high points in Rebels are super high, but my god, some of
Dude,
those like
oh,
filler episodes, like it was just like
I don't really want to rewatch Rebels. Like I could rewatch Clone Wars. Well, there's a
it's
lot of stuff
hard,
in
yeah,
Clone Wars. Uh,
yeah. But
looking at
it,
bridge,
it's just like you're watching to get to the good stuff,
right?
basically. And my hope is that it's not that, because then it's just it being 16 episodes. It's not like The Mandalorian where you're like, okay, the next one will probably be, more action packed or like more story driven.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know. So we'll discuss those as they come out. Do you have any other thoughts or things you want to talk about with these first 2 episodes so far?
Um, I we touched on it and mentioned it, but yeah, no, I'd like to see. This does feel like the campaign missions of Battlefront 2. And those were always really fucking cool. Like narrated by the clone from the clone's perspective of the transition and what they had to do. So I think this is a really cool. I'm happy with this period of time in Star Wars. I don't think I'd rather look at another period than right after Episode 3. That's one that's interesting and has been kind of not touched on. Like they do a lot of before Episode 4, but not a lot of after Episode 3. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
yeah. I get what you're saying.
I'm very happy with where it's at in the timeline, and I'm
Yeah.
interested to keep watching it.
One thing I did want to mention, to piggyback off of the whole Redditor sleuths who have figured stuff out, there was like another trailer for the season that came out, and apparently they're going to be going to Braga from the first area of
Yeah, the Junkyard Planet and
yeah,
Fallen
Jedi
Order.
Fallen Order. Yeah,
See, and I completely fell in love with Fallen Order. So, yeah, stuff like that period in time is really cool to me. So that sounds really cool. Maybe they'll be like, oh, there's our workers, and you'll see Cal or something.
that's what I'm like. I don't know. Like I can see them doing that. I think the more likely thing would be who is Cal's friend, who
Prague. No.
Anyways, or whatever his name was.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
that
feel
guy.
like if anything, we'd see that guy, and
Uncle soon be dead.
yeah. But yeah, they showed that in the trailer. Obviously we're gonna see who's the like sniper lady from the Mandalorian. The
Oh, Asian wife, Boba waifu.
yeah, basically.
Boba
She's
built his own waifu.
she's confirmed to be in it as well. Which is I really like that they have some I guess sort of synergy around the shows now. Because that was something that I feel like they struggled with season 1 of The Mandalorian and the Star Wars sequel trilogy, was that
Well,
they
and I
didn't
hope this,
really feel connected.
yeah,
Whereas
I
this
hope
is
this gives the sorry, I hope this gives a chance to like tie up loose ends that weren't covered in Clone Wars. Like, I really wanted to keep seeing what happened to Boba, and they were like projected to have a duel, like him and
dude,
Cad Bane,
yeah.
and I would like I don't know how you'd work that into the Bad Batch, but I would love to see more Boba Fett.
Well, and
Like,
that's
I just feel like
my
we didn't get enough of him in Clone Wars.
I can see it doing that or doing that in Book of Boba Fett having the Bad Batch show. Because, like, I don't know, my theory with what Book of Boba Fett is going to be, and I think we talked about this before, was that it's going to be Boba Fett on Jabba's throne telling stories, I guess, sort of from his past, and it's going
Hmm.
to be like sort of an anthology thing where he's telling stories in different time periods, maybe having the actor who played him in episode 2 show up because he's apparently said he wants to reprise the role and maybe do that duel with Cad Bane where he gets the dent on his helmet. But
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
it would be cool to see him in this as well, though. Like, I will say that just the whole idea of and they don't really even talk about it in like they reference it like barely in the Mandalorian season 2 where he's like, yeah, I can't go into the Imperial base because they recognize my face, sort of
Mhm.
thing. And that's not really something that we've seen enough of yet, and maybe they'll do more of it. So I don't know, the Bad Batch maybe coming across him and being like, "Oh shit, another clone," and he's like, "No, fuck y'all,
Yeah,
like I don't want anything to do with it." Like
I
sort of
think
like what was it in X-Men First Class where they come across Wolverine in the
yeah,
bar?
they're like, we're putting together a team. He's like, fuck you. And they're like, all
Yeah,
right.
yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
It'd be cool if they did something sort of like that.
Yeah.
Just a
I think
little
it's weird that
Easter egg.
they already have no direction though. Like, what's the Bad Batch doing next week? I don't fucking know.
Yeah,
They don't really have a goal. So I think that's kind of weird to already be like, well, it doesn't let me get hyped, I feel like, for the next
yeah.
episode. I don't
Well,
know
and
what's
like
coming
at
in.
the very least, the first episode ended with a tease for like, okay, we're gonna go to sector whatever, and that gave people something to like latch onto and speculate about. And I don't know, just that sort of like hype cycle is really important when you're doing a weekly show versus like a show you can just binge.
Right.
Um,
Like, we just finished watching WandaVision Falcon Winter Soldier, and every time that episode ended, I was like, fuck. Oh, I
yeah,
really want to see what's next, man. They always left you with a crazy ending or just something.
yeah,
So this was very just like, and they went on a 20-minute adventure, and what are they going to do next week? We'll
yeah,
see. It's like, okay. So hopefully they get a bigger goal.
yeah.
I don't know.
So that sort of wraps my thoughts up. Are you pretty much good?
That's all I got.
All right, so that's going to wrap it up for this episode of the Boyos Discuss. We're going to continue doing these smaller discussions for new episodes of The Bad Batch, in addition to hopefully getting back on schedule with our movie reviews. Fingers crossed on that. Anyways, if you enjoyed the episode, then hit that like button, leave us a comment, subscribe, and smash the bell icon. Till next time.
See you around, kid.